headquarters internationally a smart move?
I think so. Having worked in Soho myself, it's the hub of the creative industries in London. You have advertising, you have creative agencies, you have other tech companies and startups tapping talent in that local market. So I think just as a hub of creativity, hub of advertising, and as revenue becomes more important going forward, I think Soho is a great place to be.
Notably, we're seeing expansion in Europe, but we're also seeing expansion as far as Asia as well. This is a scaling up effect ahead of the IPO, is it?
I think so. I think you have to understand your global audience. You have to understand the local influencers, the local types of style of content, what Gen Z messengers are all about in each different territory. They're not a homogenous group. People are very different in terms of their habits and styles of how they communicate and what kind of visual messaging they choose to express themselves. So I think having an international footprint means being closer to your audience, understanding your audience better.
So of course what they have to do ahead of the IPO is drum up the excitement that they are worth 25 billion, that they have growth potential outside of perhaps a social media app. How are they doing this at the moment?
Yeah, so I think that its CEO is 26 years old. He's kind of stayed very authentic to the target Gen Z and millennial audience that have kind of been the bread and butter of this rapid ascension that Snapchat's seen. So I think evolving way beyond just messaging. And it's been able to show itself evolving over time, most recently with Snapchat stories, with the face filters, with geo filters and lenses, etc. So I think augmented reality is one area that's very, very exciting for Snapchat. I think that increased activity with brands and better targeting and better analytics are another area that will fuel the revenue machine that a public company needs to kind of fulfill. And a whole host of other things just quite, on that similar trajectory. But AR is pretty much the most exciting, I think.
I think what's interesting there is you talk about working with businesses in the same way that sort of Facebook leveraged not only building ecosystems, helping gaming companies, but also working with huge brands, the Unilevers, to target you and I.
Sure.
How much is it copying Facebook? How much is Facebook copying them?
Yeah. I think the biggest, most egregious kind of copycat move was from Instagram, copying Instagram stories. It's literally the same product as Snapchat stories. I think that there's been a whole host since mid to late last year efforts from Facebook at basically ripping off various features that have performed very well for Snapchat. However, the difference here being when you're already going mass market, you're no longer cool. When you're shoving ads and monetization efforts down the throats of your audience, it's no longer native, it's no longer natural. And right now, the one thing that Snapchat has working for it is that it's an empathetic and authentic one-to-one, one-to-many kind of platform that people want to be associated with.
But then how can it keep that if it gives the revenues that the investor base are going to want to see?
Very, very good question, and that's exactly the one that remains to be seen. When you see companies have to focus too much on monetization, you see the original ethos of what those companies were founded on starting to kind of degrade over time. We're seeing it now with Medium here with the blogging company here in San Francisco. We saw it with Twitter, post-IPO. So the jury remains out on that, if they can stay cool post-IPO.
Will they always tackle just the millennials?
If they keep coming up with new ways to express themselves and new ways for millennials to express themselves, I think it's a safe bet to say, as they keep refreshing themselves with the new crop of Gen Zers coming in, for example. I think the Snap Spectacles have been a great example of one way to do that. It says it's a camera company now. Genius piece of marketing. If you can open up have someone open up your app through the camera, they view the world as you want them to see it, or you view the world alongside them many, many times per day. And what you choose to overlay on top of that is similar to the way that the web portals used to be down in the 90s with the original ISPs.
I mean, so much is being hoped for by the ecosystem, Silicon Valley, those that want to start to see exits come thick and fast in 2017. Yep. Mm-hmm. Do you think they will live up to the hype? Will they, the way that they're pursuing their roadmap to IPO is the right one at the moment?
I think defining growth, defining analytics, and defining metrics, and so showing those going up and to the right and growing quickly. That's what they've been able to do. There's been some speculation recently that some of those metrics have been slightly falsified, which have been vehemently denied by the company. But I think if you look at where Snapchat is compared to where Facebook was when it went public, they do paint quite a different picture in terms of real money, actually getting to dollars and revenue.